6 weeks. That's how much time Saudi Arabia thought was enough to defeat the Houthis in Yemen. But that was way back in March 2015. Nearly a decade later, the war with the Houthis is still on. The Houthis have not just survived, but grown stronger. Now it's America and Britain. Last week, US and UK militaries conducted airstrikes on Houthi targets. Ever since then, if you looked at American and British statements, you would think that the Houthi threat had all but been eliminated. Is this just bluster for the cameras? Or is the West actually making a huge strategic blunder? If it is a mistake, it will have wider repercussions than Saudi Arabia's old miscalculation. That's because the Houthis today are virtually holding global trade hostage. The Yemeni group is not showing any signs of backing down after the Western airstrikes. And now that America has used military action once, it might find it hard to back down too. So is this the beginning of the widely feared big war in the Middle East? Or has America been able to achieve what the Saudi-led coalition couldn't do in the last 10 years? The Houthis have long been a player in Yemen's civil war. After dictator Ali Abdullah Saleh lost power, the Houthis took control of many big population centers in the early 2010s. This led to an international coalition led by Saudi Arabia to invade Yemen in March 2015. Now, the coalition's aim was to defeat the Houthis, put the internationally recognized government back in power. But this turned into a proxy war between the Saudis and their regional rival Iran. Now, the Saudis mainly used the tactic which America and Britain recently did, airstrikes. But these clearly failed. On the other hand, the UAE sent ground troops and saw better results. But their operations were mainly in South Yemen, where the Houthis have been weaker. Now, America is very unlikely to put boots on the ground against the Houthis inside Yemen. So how effective have the latest airstrikes been? The first set of strikes hit 60 targets with more than 100 precision-guided bombs and missiles. Then a second set of strikes hit a dozen other targets. A day later, the American military fired a Tomahawk cruise missile at a Houthi radar facility. The targets were varied, from missiles in drone-launched airfields to weapon factories, from munition depots to air defense radars. The Houthis admitted that 6 personnel had died, but there was no impact on the group's capabilities. The director of the US Military Joint Staff, Lieutenant General Douglas Sims, he claimed that the strikes had achieved their objective, which was to damage the Houthis' ability to launch complex missiles and drone attacks. Some American officials told reporters that 90% of the targets had been damaged or destroyed. But according to the New York Times, this amounted to just 20 to 30% of the Houthis' offensive capability. This means that the Houthis still have a lot of firepower left in them to continue attacking ships, vessels in the Red Sea. So what kind of firepower is this? Since 2015, Iran has given them various types of anti-ship missiles, both cruise and ballistic. One of these is the Paveh, which has a range of 800 kilometers. The Houthis currently have 6 different types of anti-ship cruise missiles and 6 types of anti-ship ballistic missiles. Apart from this, the Houthis recently used a drone boat packed with bombs. Now, the drone boat had exploded some distance from a US warship in the Red Sea. Even if the Western airstrikes destroyed a lot of the Houthis' arsenal, Iran will quickly move in to replenish it. Meanwhile, even Iran's rival Saudi Arabia has called for restraint, avoiding escalation, they said, after the airstrikes. Now, this clearly shows the clout that the Houthis have been able to develop despite years of war. Riyadh is also nervous because it's currently having peace talks with the Houthis. If the situation deteriorates, the Houthis might start attacking Saudi Arabia again. One of their favorite targets is oil facilities, the backbone of the kingdom's economy. Saudi Arabia's reaction might be more revealing than claims of success by America. If the Saudis, who have fought the Houthis for a decade, are fearful instead of being happy, then it's a sign of how ineffective the strikes have been. Even more Western powers like France, Italy, and Spain did not participate in the airstrikes, fearing escalation of the situation. Despite all this, America has been signaling that it could hit the Houthis again if they don't stop attacking commercial ships. But if the Houthis ignore this threat, like all other issues over the last 2 months, will America have the stomach to step up its military action in the Middle East, possibly starting another forever war?